My name is Jessica Garrity, and I did my redesign project on the calm down space in my classroom. I teach in a classroom for students with emotional disabilities, so I have a self-contained room with 9 students, grades kindergarten through 3rd. A lot of the time when they become upset, they become disruptive to the learning environment for themselves and other students, and they can also become physically aggressive, which results in them leaving the classroom and going into our calm room. However, our calm room currently is basically an empty classroom between the two special education rooms. So it doesn't really give students a way to help calm down, but they do end up losing academic learning time and being separated from their peers. I started the year with a calm down space in my room. However, I only had 5 students, so space-wise, I was able to give them privacy and an area to calm down. After winter break, I jumped to 9 students, so I lost that space due to needing learning space and desks for my other students. Even when I had the calm down space, I didn't teach my students the correct strategies to properly calm down in the most effective way. So redesigning this space, I wanted to make sure that students were allowed an effective calm down break before it reached the point where they needed to leave the room. I also wanted to make sure to be proactive about this, so not waiting until students were already at their breaking point or when they were already so upset that we couldn't get them back in, but instead, if you're a little anxious or having some anxiety or frustration, take a step back, go to the calm down space, effectively use it, and then return to the learning environment. Ultimately, my goal is for students to be able to individually go to their calm down space when they're frustrated, anxious, or upset, and use this space independently without teacher help. It's important for them to stay in the classroom so that they're still able to absorb some of the academics instead of leaving the space entirely and also re-entering the room. I've noticed that when my students need to leave the room and they come back in, a lot of other students more so recognize that they were upset or physically aggressive and had trouble calming down. But if they're in the room, they don't necessarily think that they were so frustrated that they had to leave, and it's not noticed as a negative thing. Instead, if they're in the classroom still, they don't kind of have that negative connotation along with it. In order to create this calm down space, I really wanted to gather my students' input. What helps you calm down? Where do you want to calm down? How do you want to calm down? Anything that I could get from them, I wanted to know to ultimately make this their space and make sure that they were utilizing it to the best of their ability. I wanted to make sure that I constantly reinforce them, so if they are upset, if they're becoming frustrated, go ahead and go to that space. I didn't want to just put down a beanbag and some sensory items and say, go to the calm down space, take 3 minutes and come back. I wanted them to make sure that they knew what to do back there, how to calm down, make sure it was an organized space, and that it was structured. In order to individualize this for all my students based on their needs, I gave them a survey to go through what helps them calm down and to really get a better understanding of them. Some students want to be distracted, some students want just silence, some students need to work on deep breathing. They all had a variety of answers. So I gave them multiple options of items that would help them calm down. And then I went and made a schedule for them in an order that would help them to the best of their ability. When they go to the sensory room, they have a schedule to make sure that the last activity calms their body to go back to class. So I kind of wanted the same mindset here. So I have an example. Johnny's schedule is he has a minute with the sensory bottle, a minute with the TheraBand, and then 3 minutes of the deep breathing app for Sesame Street on the iPad. So he was able to record himself doing this, so he could either watch the video of himself doing it and follow along, or he could use a timer and set 1 minute playing with sensory bottle, then 1 minute with the TheraBand, and then 3 minutes doing the breathing app. This really helped him personally and make sure that he was getting what he needed, and it was the same thing every time he went back there. Instead of a student going back there and being overwhelmed by all the options, he was able to take the time and do the same routine every single time, so he knew what was expected of him. I also wanted to be aware of the time, so it wasn't just go back there till you're calm, but these are the things that help you get calm. Let's do them in this order. When you're done, you're ready to come back.